Hey guys, welcome back to. That was really nice, actually. Welcome back to King of the Bean. I am your new king. You may know me, so it may not be as new. I am Josh. With me, I have Ian, and I have Ryan. On today's topic, we are going to talk about movies. We talked about horror movies, and that was nice. That was great. I want to talk about movies as a whole, everything about it.
I love movies.
Yeah, you really do.
I really do.
Out of everyone here, you probably will have watched the most.
I guarantee. So later we might do a top 5. I guarantee you probably don't know at least or haven't seen at least a few of them.
Probably. That'd be nice to have some recommendations for later.
Dude, I got them for you. You know I do.
Alright, but what I want to start off with,
Yes.
like, what would you guys consider to be your favorite genre of movies? Because for me personally, I have two favorite genres. I have horror, as previously stated. I love a good horror movie. I love to get scared. I like the thrill of it all.
Yeah.
And I also am a sucker for a good rom-com.
Yeah, you are.
I love romantic comedies. They give me life. They give me everything that I need to be happy about my life. So, you know what? Life's not that big of a deal. I can laugh about this. I can look at this romantic comedy that stars like Betty White in it too, and just think that she's a total queen.
She is, though.
She is.
Are you thinking of the...
Yes, The Proposal.
Yeah, that's the one with Sandra Bullock, Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's what I was thinking of, but I thought I had the wrong name for a
No,
second.
yeah. It's a great movie. Love it. Hilarious.
Sounds great.
But what would you guys say is your favorite genre?
So I also love a good rom-com.
Mm.
Not a huge horror buff, as we know from episode 6.
Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
But my favorite's probably gotta be just like I love a good comedy. I wanna feel good and laugh.
You want to laugh.
And just have a good time. If we are in the realm of horror, though, I like psychological thrillers. Like
Yeah.
I want to think. I don't want to be terrified or grossed out. I just want to be like I like a good whodunit, like mystery,
Sure, yeah. That's
or
always
like
fun
trying to
watch.
figure out what the thing is.
Yeah, that's always fun to watch.
Yeah.
And then musicals. Love musicals.
Oh yeah, I love a good musical situation.
And then although I feel like I haven't actually watched a ton of musicals, but
Would you consider like the old renaissance of like Disney animation musicals? Or are
Yes.
they Disney animated?
no,
I think that they. I think that they.
I
are
think the
within
Disney
the
animations
umbrella.
are musicals.
Okay, fair enough. Just
I
wanna-
think if there's more than 3 songs in a movie, it's a musical.
If it has a whole soundtrack of original songs, it's probably a musical.
probably. Yeah.
And then I also put action but like an action comedy
Oh,
is
action, got it. I didn't hear what. You
always fun. Like beating up guys, but you're also making jokes.
said. Yeah, like all the.
Marvel
That
movies.
Jackie Chan is a good.
Or
Okay.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnold
or
Schwarzenegger is nice too.
I'm thinking like well, I don't know if it's
Jumanji.
Jumanji.
Oh my god, that is the epitome
Indiana
of an
Jones
action
is like
comedy.
actiony, but it's also has
It's a little
funny
comedy,
moments.
yeah.
So does the MCU. Like, because the MCU has everything. It has romance. It has action. It has sci-fi.
They dipped their toes in horror.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I want them to lean more into it. I think that'd be cool.
But-
Maybe they will one day.
Yeah, so I like most genres. But
Yeah, but you would say that rom-com, and then what was the second one you said?
I said comedy,
Comedy.
not rom-com.
Sorry,
Comedy.
comedy. Rom-coms for me.
Yeah, I do like romantic aspects, but I'm not always huge on like that's the main thing about it.
Fair enough. What
That
about
is
you,
fair.
Ryan?
I feel like I'm a lot like Ian. I like a lot. I'll watch like anything, honestly.
Same,
Like
yeah.
I just like watching movies.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick some genres that are at the top, I would say horror or like something in that aspect for sure. I do like horror movies. I like science fiction movies. I mean, mostly Star Wars though, honestly. Like Alien's cool though.
Love
Like
Star
you
Wars.
can't go wrong with Alien and Predator. Those are sci-fi movies. I don't know if I watched Dune. I like Dune. I feel like I didn't really understand a lot what was going on. I should probably read the book, but I like science fiction. I like action. I like comedy. I kind of like I said, like I'll watch kind of anything. Like
Yeah.
I've seen rom-coms.
As
I like
long as it's entertaining.
drama.
What would you say is your least favorite genre? Because for you, I feel like it would be like musicals or dramas.
I would agree with that statement. Like you'll watch it, but it wouldn't be your first pick at all.
I would agree with that. I wouldn't say I dislike them because I've seen a lot of dramas
Yeah.
and I've seen some musicals, but are those things that I actively watch on my own? No, not really.
Yeah. So
More like in TV, more so drama maybe, but even then, like,
it's a hit or miss.
yeah, I wouldn't say I actively seek them out, but definitely like some of the movies on my list could be considered dramas.
For you, I would say horror.
Yeah.
Like you would not seek out horror if you can help it.
That's not true.
I think a lot of times when you watch horror, it's because I want to watch a horror
I was
movie.
gonna say, if Josh and I weren't part of your movie watching experience, would you have seen any of the horror movies we have seen in the last year?
I probably would have seen like Megan.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Scream 6 was also good.
But would you have gone to see it without Josh? Like if there was no Josh and no Ryan, and you were just living your life, would you have gone to see those movies by yourself?
Maybe. I mean, can't answer that question. It didn't happen, but
Okay, so what would you say then?
But-
is your...
I'm also the one who recommended going to see it in theaters and seeing Halloween Ends,
Yeah.
which was not the end, or was that Halloween Kills? I don't know.
Halloween Kills. Halloween End is the end.
Was the
of
actual
Halloween.
end?
It
Yeah.
has to be, otherwise that's a huge mismatch.
Yeah. And that one actually starred Jamie Lee Curtis. Did he get dim?
Yeah, the light's
Okay.
weird.
That one actually had
It's a
Jamie Lee
ghost.
Curtis as a main person.
Did the one we saw in theaters not?
She was there for like 5 scenes and then gone for the
I
rest
see.
of it.
Interesting.
Which sucked because like Jamie Lee Curtis she's a badass.
She's wonderful.
Yeah.
What an
She's a
incredible
great lady. One of my favorite actresses.
And
out
she's
there.
gonna be in One Piece.
Yeah, she is. Dr. Kureha.
That'd be great. Okay, so then what would you say is your least favorite genre then? Slapstick comedy.
Those are just so like.
Did you say just like gore and stuff like that? 'Cause
Yeah,
I would
probably.
put like gore. Like I'm not. I like horror movies, but I don't like we talked about. I don't like gory movies. I like
So you-
paranormal.
You don't like
supernatural.
Saw.
Yeah, not really.
That's just
It's not really my vibe. I
That's
don't
just
like.
all like torture porn essentially.
Yeah, and that's not. I like supernatural. I like like we talked about like the Conjuring type movies and like the more supernatural stuff like that. I like that more than like gory slasher films.
Sure.
I'm not a huge blood and gore kind of guy.
Sure, I can get behind
It's
that.
too much.
I wouldn't know what my least favorite would be. I like a lot of movies.
Yeah.
What would I not seek out though?
Yeah, that's the thing. What do you not seek out?
Sports movies.
Yeah.
Sports movies?
Yeah, if there's a movie
Okay, well
about
then that's
sport-
all of ours.
Yeah, that's a
I'm
universal
just
thing in
scrolling
this
down
table.
the list and I was like,
I don't think I've ever decided to watch a sport movie ever.
Yeah.
Except for maybe Mighty
Sandlot.
Ducks
Oh.
or Sandlot. Yeah.
or Angels in the Outfield.
Never seen it.
Isn't
I don't even
Wait.
know what that is.
That is a movie, a baseball movie, but I probably watched it a long time ago.
wasn't it a Disney movie or it was on the Disney Channel?
You remember Remembering the Titans or whatever with Sandra Bullock and it was a football movie? I just remember seeing commercials for it.
What are
Dude,
you?
I see commercials.
No,
you said something
are you
that
thinking
did not
of,
make sense.
Are you thinking of The Blind Side?
The Blind Side's
Oh,
a
maybe.
good movie.
Is that with Sandra Bullock?
Yeah.
You're asking the wrong.
Is that the
person.
one that recently came back with controversy about the
guy.
original
and
people and
yeah.
the?
I think so. One of those ones, yeah.
Take his word for it. He knows more about this than I would.
But that was Sandra Bullock.
Okay.
Also, Angels in the Outfield was a Disney movie, and I feel like they played it on the Disney Channel,
Yeah, they probably did.
which is why-
Okay, then sports movies is at the bottom of my list. I don't-
yeah. Universally, yeah. We're not.
I
seek out-
have watched like video game documentaries and stuff though. Or
I love documentaries, dude.
Documentaries are
Documentaries
nice.
are awesome.
there's been a couple about like League of Legends and stuff, and I find it so interesting about like the history and where it came from, and also when I was taking my video game design class, we would talk about or mention a couple movies, and then a couple were coming out on Netflix around that time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so interesting to see where it's like come from.
I
Were those
freaking
all,
love
like-
documentaries.
Were those all like just talking about esports in general, or specifically like League of Legends?
One of them was like a league documentary,
Got it.
about like the scene and all that stuff, and then
And how it grew.
one was like more specific to just esports in general, with lots of focus on league, because I feel like that's one of the main ones that kind of blew up.
Sure. Yeah. It's become very popular.
Um, And there's also always mention about like Melee and
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it's-
There's a lot of
StarCraft and
documentaries about that.
Dota
Yeah.
and
They're
stuff.
very popular games. I could
Yeah.
see them documented for that.
Speaking of that, slight tangent, but I saw this
Slight.
tweet last night that was like, I don't know why I watched League esports and be okay with like 3 kills in 20 minutes. But I recently discovered that watching Melee is so much better because you're just watching people fight constantly and like
That's true.
everybody's dying and it's a great time and you get that adrenaline or like
Yeah, there's
whatever,
not-
like, the whole
Melee
time.
is still huge. Like, there's still a really big population of
Yeah.
competitive Melee scene. Which, for people who don't know, we're talking about Super Smash Bros. Melee, which is the second, I think,
Mhm.
Super Smash Bros. Though it came out for GameCube. So like, it's an older one for sure. There's been 3 iterations since then, but it has to do a lot with like the mechanics. The movement mechanics and
It's
the
been
blocking mechanics,
so smooth.
and people just like latch onto it, and like it still has a huge competitive scene freaking 20 years later or whatever.
Yeah, people love.
People love Melee.
They do.
I like Super Smash Bros. Brawl better.
Anyway, back to this.
But yeah, movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, sports movies. I would
Yeah,
also
that's at
agree
the
would
bottom
be
for
at the
me.
bottom. Now that you put that out there,
I would.
there are diamonds in the rough though.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sandlot's a classic.
Sandlot is a classic. Yeah, you can't get wrong with it. I couldn't tell you the plot. It's
The
about
kids
baseball.
play baseball
Yeah.
in a sandlot or whatever,
Yeah.
and then they'd be good.
And one of them's like, okay, just bring out your hand up, and I'll do the rest. And the kid does a perfect pitch and puts it immediately into his hand. It was cool, for the time.
Interesting.
Yeah,
It's a classic.
it is a
for
classic.
sure.
Yeah.
It's like the
Would I
Goonies.
recommend you watching it now? Probably not. Probably doesn't hold up.
What about Air Bud? Is that a
Movies with
sports
dogs
movie?
are very different.
Is that a sports movie?
Technically, in
Technically.
the most technical sense, it is.
Yeah.
It is a movie. It's about a
I
dog
never
who plays
really cared
basketball.
about Air Bud or Beethoven or any of those.
I had Air Bud
Golden
on
Retriever
VHS.
movies.
So did we would watch it when we
Grandma
went to our
Joe.
grandma's house
Yeah.
She would
because
just put Air
she had like a wall of VHS, but half of them were Air Bud.
Yeah.
Bud. Did she actually just have half Air Bud? That's so cute.
100%. It was like mostly.
So we'd watch it when we went over there.
I love the idea of you guys just sitting around and your grandma's like, okay, we're gonna watch a movie, and then she just puts Air Bud 2 Electric Boogaloo.
She always let us pick, but the one thing I remember about her house, because this is while she was in a condo in Oceanside, is the Air Bud movies and like cheese puffs for some reason. Like that's the
core grandma
that's the
memory.
chip she would always buy as like a snack, was a cheese puff.
No, that's cute. I love that for you guys.
Thanks, man.
It's
Ryan
adorable.
never liked cheese puffs.
It's
They're okay.
That's okay. I
Cheetos
don't
were
like
never my favorite anyway.
that. Same.
I'm more
I
of
like
a
the
Fritos.
puff. It's crunchy and like, but also airy and
I'm
light.
more of a Fritos, Cool Ranch Doritos kind of guy.
I, do,
I'm a
I
old
like a good
school
cheese.
Nacho cheese Dorito guy.
Nacho
Anyway.
cheese is classic, but yeah, let's bring it back.
Slight tangent.
These are the memories that come with movies.
Sure. No, I'm with you. I like it. All right. So, what would you guys say is like your top 5? Like, we were talking about this ahead of time, but like live action and then animated movies.
Okay, so I'll start with animated movies.
Go. Hit me.
So
Go.
top number 1
at the very
animated movie,
Uh-huh.
Lilo and Stitch.
Sure.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Like, it's such a classic. I love Stitch. I
He's
relate.
an icon.
I relate to Lilo.
He's still an icon.
still an-
There's a 6th grader I just real quick, just because it's related, who I was subbing for in a class for, and she was wearing a Stitch shirt. She had a Stitch backpack, and she had like 7 Stitch erasers that she was lining up on her desk. And
She's
she was like,
obviously the coolest.
she's like,
kid there.
Mr. S, look at all my Stitch stuff. And I'm like, that's awesome. And she's like, yeah, and I'm gonna get a Stitch water bottle, and I'm gonna get a Stitch purse. And she's like, I'm gonna get all this Stitch stuff. I'm like, good for you.
I love that for her.
But yeah,
for them.
love Lilo and Stitch. Love the TV show that came with it. Was there a second movie, or was it just a TV show?
I think there was a second
So,
movie.
there's Lilo and Stitch 2, Stitch Has a Glitch. There's Leroy and Stitch.
Oh yeah.
There's there's another one I can't remember.
But the first one's a classic, and the TV show is also a lot of fun. We would
TV
watch
show
it
was
before
really fun.
school all the time.
There's Lilo
Great.
and Stitch, the anime.
Stitch has an itch.
No, but there's an anime of Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, re-mentioning it.
Yeah.
Number 2,
Those.
Mulan.
Oh yeah.
It's on my list
You
too.
love a good Mulan moment. I didn't write that down, but that's
Strong,
a good one.
independent woman saves China, pretends to be a man, confuses another man because he's like, I think I love him. And then he's just like, oh, it's a woman. This is cool.
Yeah. What was the guy's name? Do you remember?
Oh.
Peng?
Ping?
No, that was
Ping
her
was
name.
her name. Yeah.
She was Peng.
Yeah. Anyway,
I
not
think
important.
it's Chen.
Nuh-uh. Hold
But
on.
he,
This
he,
is important.
he has become a bi icon.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Good for him.
Because of the fact
I
that
always liked that. I thought he was cool.
the fact
He's
that
got
he
one of the-
fell in love with
One
a
of the
man.
best songs.
Oh yeah, 100%. Be a man. It's just
Must be
With all the
swift as
strength
a
of a
bull.
coursing
Must be
river.
swift as a coursing
Alright,
river, with
whatever.
all the strength
With all the
of a
force
great
of a
typhoon.
great typhoon. We don't know the
Oh, yeah.
words to any of this.
force of a great
We're getting-
strength of a raging fire.
Right.
Mysterious
as the dark side of the moon.
which is also a great album.
Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah.
Pink Floyd.
Yeah. What are you looking
Also,
at?
Eddie Murphy's Mushu, great,
Classic.
perfect.
Oh yeah, he.
Amazing. Carry the movie.
Honestly though,
And it was Li Shang,
Li Shang.
That was the commander's name?
Captain Li Shang,
No,
Okay.
it wasn't.
Yeah, but he's a bi icon. Yeah.
with
Oh,
the singing voice provided by Donny Osmond.
Yeah, he did.
Oh.
Mhm.
Do you know that Jackie Chan did a rendition of "Be a Man" in Chinese?
I love
No.
that.
Yeah.
I love Jackie Chan. What a man.
Yeah.
What a great person.
So number 3,
Uh huh.
I have Emperor's New Groove.
oh, I didn't put that on the list. Oh,
that is a cult
shucks.
classic. You're right. Should have wrote that down. I have different things.
Well, because when
I
you
have
said a movie you'd
diversity.
rewatch a lot, I'm like, what's a movie that we used to rewatch a lot? And then I thought that we actually watched Emperor's New Groove like 2 years ago. So
Still great.
yeah, it's
Aw.
still good. It holds up. Also had a great TV show spin-off that we watched
It
a
was
little bit
fine.
of.
Emperor's New
yeah.
Groove, no complaints. But
Yeah.
Emperor's New Groove is just freaking amazing classic.
It has
Underrated.
so many memes in it.
Underrated.
Nowadays.
Just like the best characters,
Yeah.
you know?
Every character is perfect.
Every character
It's
is
true.
awesome.
You hate the guy, the emperor of Cusco. There you go. I was trying to remember his name. You hate the guy, but he's not so annoying that you just like don't want to like listen to him.
No, you
throughout
like
the whole thing.
relate to him a little
He's
bit.
just a
understand.
child emperor, so he's a little bit of a annoying teen.
yeah.
And he has a character arc.
Yeah, and it's great.
And
It's good.
Kronk is like the best himbo ever created.
Oh,
in
Kronk is
yeah.
just one of the best characters
He is
ever. And,
himbo.
and Patrick Warburg,
Perfect voice.
amazing.
Yzma.
Yzma, best
Lover.
voice.
Starred
Eartha
by
Kitt.
what's her name?
Eartha Kitt.
Eartha Kitt. Thank you. I didn't hear you.
I have no idea. No idea.
Yeah.
Poncho, what's his name? Poncha?
Yeah. Ponta.
Paco?
Paco.
No.
That's
Ponta.
is it Ponta?
I'm pretty sure.
I don't think so.
It starts with a P, and he's awesome, and his wife is
Pacha.
amazing.
Isn't it Pacha?
Pacha.
I didn't even get
Yeah.
that.
What's
far
his
yet.
wife's name? Because she's incredible.
She's so hilarious.
Sassiest woman.
Love her.
What she was actually one of the few because they don't really like to show it, but she was one of the first
Chicha.
animated.
Chicha, yeah.
Chicha? Huh. She was one of the first animated women that were actually pregnant.
Pregnant,
and
yeah,
had
that's
a
right.
child.
It's
And
such a wonderful
such an
movie.
independent
It was
woman,
so
too.
funny. It was so clever. It was so different.
Perfect voice cast.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All the actors did amazing.
I
Wonderful.
love how most of the voice actors did not change their voice whatsoever.
No.
It's just their
They
voice.
need to. Well, because they're just people.
They are just people.
Yeah.
There was on the topic of like the actors there. There was a sitcom starring Patrick Warburton and whatever Cusco's voice actor is.
Oh, really?
David Spade.
Oh, and they were in a sitcom together.
That's funny.
And I remember because I was like, my brother was watching it. I was like laying in bed. It's like, why the fuck are you watching Emperor's New Groove? It's like that's not them.
But they
It's
changed the line.
like, yeah, it was great. It was an okay.
For number 4, so I actually have 3 more here.
Sure.
So one's gonna be an honorable mention.
Okay.
But I'm actually gonna move robots into number 4.
Dude, you're still my whole list.
Just because that's another. We played that movie so much that we scratched the DVD.
That's why I put it on. That's why I put it on the list because I'm like, we watched Rope. And also, it's a fantastic
It's a
movie with
great
an
movie.
also fantastic cast.
Yeah.
It.
Amanda
Robin
Bynes,
Williams.
Robin Williams,
Wow.
like
Can't be
great.
Robin Williams.
Love that movie,
Yeah,
and then
that's
the Hit Me Baby One More Time. Like,
So
it's
iconic.
so
Another
good.
movie that was really fun and funny and different.
And I feel like nobody remembers it.
Dude,
Oh, nowadays a lot of people are bringing it back.
But
I
it
feel
was
like it's one of
so-
those cult classics
It
that
was
like
100%.
will make a
But it was
resurgence.
so iconic. And
Yeah.
then, so for number 5, I'm gonna go with Encanto.
Okay,
Yeah.
As like a recent entry.
Yeah, sure.
I'm with
Because
ya.
I feel like, you know, it kind of came back to the original Disney stuff where it was very like family focused. The music was all great.
Mhm.
And
As a Hispanic, I could relate to a lot of the things they were going around.
and it was
there.
just it was just a really fun movie, but it also had such meaning and lessons
Oh
in it,
yeah,
and generational like
trauma.
and you know, we as millennials, we really like
we're
like, oh
focused
my
on
god, I
that.
finally feel seen in a
Yeah.
movie, in an animated movie. And then for my honorable mention, I'm going to put the Super Mario Bros. Movie that came out
Okay.
this year.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I have
was
one
thinking
on
the
my
old ones,
list
like,
that I'm
that's live action.
surprised you didn't mention.
What?
We'll get to it when we get to
Okay.
it.
Alright,
But
here
yeah,
we
I'll
go.
put that one because I thought it was really. So I was talking to my best friend Brie about this.
Mhm.
Brie and Sebastian both think the movie was too much,
Hmm.
and they did too much for the time
Mario?
that they had. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I'm like, I think it was they had plenty of references, but I didn't think they overdid it. I mean, we saw it opening weekend, so it's
Yeah.
so it's been a while, but I mean, I didn't think they did it too much or.
I think with the references they did, a lot of them were in the background, which is the perfect
I
places
was
to
gonna
put.
say that's what I
references.
liked
Well, but
about
I
it. Is
mean-
there's a lot of environmental references. It
Mhm.
wasn't all in your face.
But there were also obvious references like Mario Kart and
Mhm.
Rainbow
Sure, yeah,
Road
yeah.
Mhm.
and all this stuff. So I don't know,
I
but
thought it was good.
I thought it was very good. If I didn't have such childhood connections to other movies, maybe it would move higher in the list. But I was also trying to think of like what came out recently.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna throw that in there.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a good list, though. A lot of those I'm like, one wholeheartedly with.
Yeah, you could go. Wow, I didn't think of that. That was
Yeah, I
amazing.
did. I have my list over here, which
You better have Lilo and Stitch.
I don't, because I knew you would write that down.
Can I do mine next because I have a lot of repeats as Ian.
Okay, sure. Go for
Okay,
it.
so currently on my list, tied for first, we're gonna do is Mulan and Emperor's New Groove.
Oh, okay.
I forgot about Emperor's New Groove, but that
Yeah.
has to be up there.
Yeah.
I also have Robots. Okay, that was number 2.
Yeah.
Number 3, which I'm surprised you didn't have, Big Hero 6.
So I saw that,
Six is a good one.
and I loved it, but I feel like my love for that only lasted like a year, and then I forgot about it.
Well, I saw it in the dentist's office the other day, and I'm like,
Did you
oh,
actually?
this movie's- Yeah. And I'm like,
Yeah, because it's a children's dentist
Yeah,
office.
I understand that, but Big Hero 6 is just like kind of out there.
But I feel like it did fall off, and I thought they were gonna make a sequel, but it
Aren't they making or have made a Baymax show or something?
Yeah, they did.
So-
It was super cute.
Yeah, we watched a little. It was a shorts thing.
Yeah,
we
it was
watched
just
it.
a bunch of
Yeah.
shorts.
It's super cute.
I don't rewatch movies a lot, except for when we were kids we did, but now as an older person I don't watch movies a lot on repeat. So I think of like what movies I feel like kind of stuck with me more. And I just loved the vibe of Big Hero 6 and San Francisco being the place, being this fusion of San Francisco and Tokyo, which is a really cool idea, and the kind of superhero take on it, but like not really, but kind
Because
of.
it was during the superhero era. Like Marvel was probably around its peak at the time this movie came out, because it's probably
Is it
like
what, around Avengers time or something?
2014.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we were in college, so around Age of Ultron was coming out, I think, or something like that. So, but it was like superhero, but very different from the Marvel and stuff that you were seeing. So it was kind of like Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Into the animated superhero realm again.
Yeah.
And
Which
I mean,
is
it was
funny
really
you
cool. It
mentioned
had
that.
great. Am I just stealing all your thunder?
Yeah, pretty much. You're just talking right over me.
But also for Big Hero 6, I love the soundtrack.
Yeah.
There's Fall Out Boy on there, and
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
and the other music that's on there that I can't remember the name of the band. They were also really good. On Top of the World and Immortals by Fall Out Boy. Two great soundtrack songs from a non musical movie. They just happen to be as a part of it. It was really cool.
Yeah. So that's on my list.
Yeah.
I also have, since you mentioned it, Into the Spider-Verse, which to
Was
me
that actually next?
no, it was later, but it's fine.
Yeah, it's
My
a list.
lists are generally fluid anyway. Like I say them in an order, but I don't know, man.
They could
I'm
be
not
wherever.
gonna dive in deep to the
They're just
nitty-gritty to
your
rank
favorite
them.
ones.
It's just they're all up there. Anyone could be in any order.
Yeah.
So
I'm
Into
okay.
the Spider-Verse, which to me is the best Spider-Man movie, hands
They
down.
did so great
It's
with that.
fantastic. I love the visual effects. I think sometimes it could be a little much, but I appreciate that because I love how stylized it is.
Very comic book like.
Yeah, and you feel like you're watching a comic book movie. And it's fun, and I think they did a great job with Miles Morales. I think all the voice actors are fantastic. I think the story is well written. And to segue into, what was the second one? Across the Spider-Verse? I love, again, how they represented it stylistically, which each character, when they focus on them, has a different style to them. Like, Spider-Punk is all kind of like 80s punk rock-esque with kind of like the cutouts and stuff like that.
A lot of dirt marks, essentially.
Yeah, and Spider-Gwen is watercolors, which I think is really cool. And then Miles has his own, and so just stylistically, it looks awesome. It's a great Spider-Man story. I love Jake Johnson as Peter Parker, just fantastic. Like I never would have thought of that.
It's Nick Miller.
Yeah, as Spider-Man, which is freaking it works so well. Who would have thought?
It's just so funny because I remember hearing his voice for the first time when we went to saw it, and I'm like, I know this voice because I feel like I was pretty fresh from watching New Girl.
Yeah, which
I
is
was
a great show.
I was just like, who is? It's Nick.
Yeah.
Freaking Miller.
And I think it's great. I think it's a great movie. I really liked Across the Spider-Verse. I'm really excited to see Beyond the Spider-Verse when it comes out, hopefully not too long from now. I just think in terms of Spider-Man movies and even like representation of Spider-Man outside of the comics, I think it's top tier.
I agree.
So it's definitely up there. And then the last one I have on my list, which I doubt you guys have even heard of, is called The House. Have you heard of The House? It's on Netflix.
The House, was that the one? This is gonna be an odd reference, but I hope it's in there. Is that the one where there's like a girl and she's like talking to like this super big jock guy, and it's like, oh wow, you have something, I forget what the words are, and the jock guy's like, yeah, my boyfriend would like that too.
No, that's one of those Tim Burton movies.
Okay.
I think it's either like, it's not Frankenweenie or Corpse Bride. It's whatever.
Is that the new one?
What do you
The one that came out last year?
Yes.
Let me see.
So this one
It's rated R.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Definitely never seen
so
it.
what it is, let me tell you guys, is it's stop motion. Who directs it? Is it Wes Anderson? It's one of those like really creative, out of the box people.
Written by Endel Walsh.
Okay. And directed
by I don't know any of these names.
Okay, that's fine. Doesn't matter. So what it is it's basically, it's all stop motion, and each one is kind of stylistically a little different. So like the first, and it's
British.
It's three different short stories essentially, and each one is different stylistically. So one is like more felt based, and one of them is, it's like the textures are different for each one, and it's these three stories that take place in three like wildly different time periods, and it's all kind of focused on the same house.
Okay.
And so this main character essentially is the house, as you see different families kind of move through and in different time periods. And it's different too because like one of them is like felt dolls are the representations. One of them is like rats, and so it's all different and it's all kind of fantastical and weird, but it's all centered around the same house. And I thought it was really interesting, and stylistically I thought again it was really cool with the stop motion animation, how there were different like fabrics, essentially different textures for each different short story. I thought it was cool that it's essentially three different short stories. I just thought it was a really fun experience and really like creatively so different and unique and interesting. So that's on my list.
See, that sounds pretty cool. I should get around to watch it.
It's a fun
Netflix?
watch. It's on Netflix.
Okay, I'll get around to it.
It's a fun watch.
I know, there's a hole in it. That's cool. All right.
So most of mine Ian took, but
Okay. I have none of the ones that you said.
Good.
So
I'm surprised you don't have Lilo and Stitch or Mulan.
I have none of them. So, for me, my top 5 that I can remember off the top of my head, anime movies, I have obviously Hercules.
Yeah,
That
that
I
was
did-
in my brain.
I did think about Hercules.
That
It's
it-
top 10 for sure.
It's one of my favorite Disney animated movies. It is the epitome of what like I thought was the peak of like music slash like storytelling, and it also talked about just like gods and stuff like that. It was a cool introduction to that whole
Hey,
world
Greek
I
of Greek
agree.
mythology
gods.
is so cool.
Yeah,
agree.
it was a great introduction
And
to it.
using
I
the
agree.
muses was like the perfect narrator voice
Oh yeah,
for the story.
bring the story right along. They're all sassy muses. Oh, love them
Meg.
all. Meg,
I love Meg.
Awakening.
Yes.
The
For
Awakening.
sure.
Ah, love her so much. She's so sassy. She's so independent.
But she's so sweet too.
She's so sweet. It's
Oh, what a
after you peel
sweetheart.
off the layers,
Oh, I love her.
I love that. And also, you know, Danny DeVito as
As Phil.
as Phil.
Can't
Like
go wrong with
it's
that.
it's
Where is
freaking
our
hilarious.
live action Danny DeVito Phil?
It's be
Disney.
great. It's so it
He's
was
getting too
so
old for
good.
that.
It's the only
He
live
is pretty
action we've
old.
wanted, and it's the only one they're not making.
I know. That's because Disney's dumb. I said it.
Disney's been dumb in recent years.
For another one that I wrote down, and I wrote this down because it has sentimental value to me. Finding Nemo. It was the first ever animated movie that I saw in theaters.
Oh,
Yeah.
neat.
So I went to go see it with my brother Art. It was his friend Juan and my friend Edgar. And we went to go see it. And it was the first animated movie that we've ever watched. And so it holds a special place in my heart. And it's also just a great story about a man trying to find his son.
It is a great movie. We had that on repeat pretty often too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
pretty
don't know what our first animated movie in theaters was, but that might have been one of them.
It might have
I think
been.
that's one of the first ones I remember.
It's
But I
great,
remember
man.
it distinctly because we got like late tickets, and this was before you could get your seats and everything.
Yeah.
So we got there like later or whatever. The only seats available, and we went with our
Joy.
parents' friend Joy from college. She lived in like this really fancy, rich beach house that she rented out.
Go for him.
Her.
That's what I did.
Oh, okay. I heard him. But yeah. So we went to her house, and then we went to the theater. But we sat in the front row.
Like the
That's the
front
only
row.
seat-
One that you have
So,
to
like,
Yeah,
literally
so-
like
neck up.
So we were like this for like 2 hours or
Oh, that's
whatever.
not comfortable.
I remember
No.
that.
Yeah, no.
Was
I don't
it
know why they have seats up there.
To optimize.
And if they do, they
or
sh-
to get the most out of it.
They should like recline a lot more, so you
100%. Yeah.
don't have to hurt
There
your.
are some movie theaters that are not that bad, even up that close. Not
that's,
a lot.
That's
but,
good,
But there are some.
but that's painful.
I
But
feel
yeah.
like nowadays they don't put seats that close anymore. Cause like nobody
People are
sits there
complaining.
anyway.
Yeah, it's not getting anything.
I feel like they can't sell much of that row.
Well, what they do is they just sell as many tickets as they can, and like you said, this was at a time where you couldn't pick your seats. So if you didn't get there early enough, you just had to sit where there
No,
was a
but
seat.
my point was nowadays.
Yeah,
Because you buy all your tickets online, and you get to pick your seats ahead of time. Those seats can't sell very well, I would believe, because nobody wants to
Nah.
sit up there. They'll just be like, "I'll go to another showing."
that's why I'm saying I don't think there are seats that close to the screen anymore.
Like they make.
Like
it
I'm trying to
changing
think.
slowly.
I'm trying to think, and I don't think there are any seats like where because we were like right next to. It
Yeah,
was
we were
literally like
so
that
close.
Like we were like literally like that, and I don't think that there are seats like that anymore.
Mm. Yeah,
I feel like that's also a safety hazard too.
probably your neck shouldn't be in that position for too long.
Well, also like if there's an emergency and people have to like go,
Oh, that's
you
yeah.
can't.
I mean,
Yeah.
we weren't that close to the
It was
screen.
pretty close to the screen.
But yeah, so that was my my second one that I put on my list for sentimental value. So
Sure.
that was for me.
yeah,
I mean, part of the reason Mulan's super high for me is she was my first crush.
yeah, and that's valid.
Mulan's a
And
queen, too.
also great movie.
great.
Solid movie.
Solid.
I put a Studio Ghibli movie in here. I put House Moving Castle.
I was thinking of putting Spirited Away.
House
really
Moving
like Spirited
Castle
Away.
is
You
just,
haven't shown me that movie.
have I not? Okay, so we'll watch it later. So, but it's such a great movie because I love the story behind it because it's about this woman who's like so like doesn't believe she's pretty even though she's a gorgeous woman. She has
Classic.
so much self-doubt in herself,
Sure.
and then she gets cursed because plot, and she gets a curse that basically transforms her into what she feels like. So she transforms into the older lady because that's basically how she feels. Like she feels like, okay, I'm already an old soul or whatever. I don't need to believe in it. And throughout the whole movie, you kind of see her change from like older to younger, depending on how she feels. And the more confident she is, she looks younger. She still has her gray hair, or whatever, but she looks younger and she's confident in herself. And you're like, get it, girl, get it.
Yeah, I've never seen this movie.
It's a great movie. We'll watch it. It's a long movie, but we'll watch it. Love the whole thing. I love her. I put Shrek on here because
Of
obviously
course,
Shrek.
yeah.
I mean, I was surprised it wasn't higher, to be honest.
It's not a list on like
His is
one.
fluid too.
Yeah, it's wherever it goes. But I put Shrek on here because it's such a classic. Like,
It is a classic.
such a good time. One of the few movies that I could probably recite every word to.
He has watched it so much, him and his friends, that when we watched it on our trip, they were like reciting lines.
It's true. It's pretty great.
It's impressive.
Also, you said Howl's Moving Castle's long. It's only 2 hours.
My first one was longer. But yeah, love the movie. It's classic. Has built a whole army of generational.
It's the
Shrekkies.
biggest meme I've ever seen.
Yes,
It's one of the biggest memes in
yeah.
the world.
Because it's so silly.
That's
it's
where
so
All
good.
Star memes came from.
Yeah. It's so great. I love it. And then the last one that I put on here, that you guys would probably never have guessed that I put on here, is Land Before Time.
Oh, Land
That's
Before
not a surprise to me.
Time. That's a cute movie.
But yeah,
And a sad movie.
I watched it.
Hey Beans, Ryan here. I know, pretty surprising, never done this before. Just wanted to apologize for the abrupt ending to this video. So for the recording session that this video was a part of, basically it was the Supernatural, Halloween, and movies, this one, we were using new microphones that we are trying out, as you may have noticed. And as you also may have noticed, we were having some audio difficulties. Now, just before I cut this video, you may have heard some echo. So that echo persisted for the remainder, about 50 minutes of this video. This conversation was almost an hour and a half in total. And it was a pretty good one, honestly. I enjoyed this podcast. I enjoy talking about movies, as the boys do as well. And it's a shame that the echo started. Don't know why that happened. Don't know how that happened, but there wasn't anything I could do to clean it up. So I talked to the boys, and basically what we decided to do is we were going to make this a 2-parter. So since the first 35 minutes or so of this episode was pretty good, again, aside from a few minutes at the end where the echo started, but I cut it as soon as we finished the animated list video, basically, which felt like a good stopping point. So there's a couple minutes of echo, but we cut it there. We're going to do this as a part 1, and then next time we record, or sometime in the near future, we will re-record essentially the second half of this video, where we talk about the non-animated movies that we really enjoy, as well as some other movie related topics that I think you'll all enjoy. Thank you again for your support, and look forward to Ian being the king in the next one. We will see you all then. Bye.